This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Hey friends, it's Kay. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kay. I'm a professional home organizer and Soprano here on YouTube, and I make organizing videos. And I was originally going to upload this as a porch makeover video. We went to a fun nursery. We bought all kinds of like plants and things for the porch because the porch was looking kind of raggedy. I wanted to get ready for fall because the weather's been so hot here. I hadn't wanted to sit on the porch, and when it was cooling down, I was like, oh, we have to redo the porch. I will include that footage at the end of the video, but while I was making over the porch, I stopped filming because I just wanted to be in the moment. I was also thinking to myself, and I wanted to spend a little time with myself without the cameras on, about the video I made in 2019 on imposter syndrome or imposter experience. If you are not familiar with imposter syndrome or imposter experience, it is a psychological phenomenon. It's not a disorder. It doesn't have its own entry in the DSM, but it is a phenomenon in which you feel like you are a fraud and all of your accomplishments have either been flukes, luck, or a mistaken identity, like Mozart opera style. I don't know. When I realized the phenomenon had a name and that it wasn't just me that was experiencing it, I spent all day mourning all of my missed opportunities or opportunities I didn't take because of imposter syndrome or imposter experience, and I very quickly sought professional help from a therapist. And I thought that I would share with you the things that I've learned about imposter syndrome and that the things that have helped me get past the hurdle of imposter syndrome so that I could actually get things done. When I was scripting this video, I was like, this would be the perfect video that would be sponsored by Skillshare, but then I was like, I don't want to do that. But then I do think it's the perfect video to be sponsored by Skillshare because of the hard truths that I found out during the time where I was dealing with these thoughts. So this video is sponsored by Skillshare. And you'll see why later in the video. A lot of the things that I'm going to tell you today are basically like tough love from me. I know I've given you guys some organizer tough love before, so today I'm gonna give you some imposter syndrome tough love. So just these are things that helped me and I think will help you. So the biggest breakthrough I had in dealing with imposter syndrome is that I was not special. Now, when people talk about specialness, they often talk about specialness in like a really good or an adorable way. Like, this is really special, or this recipe is very special. But when you have imposter syndrome, you can feel special in a not positive way. There is a very real tie-in between being special in a bad way and being undeserving. I feel like they are kind of the same. One of the biggest breakthroughs I had was to realize that I was not special, I was just a regular person. I'm a typical person, and that really took away a lot of the power of my bad specialness that I thought. I thought that I was so special in a bad way that, like, let's say the gods up in the clouds above had chosen me, Kay Patterson, to be so special and undeserving of being paid for my work, getting a gig that I auditioned for, getting views on YouTube, getting mentioned in a major publication. No matter how many of those things happened, I always saw them as flukes because I thought that I was so special and undeserving of that. And in reality, I'm just a typical regular person. And everyone that accomplishes things, whether they are like seen as monumental or just like everyday tasks, like you got up for work or, you know, and put your clothes on and stuff like that. Kings, princesses, movie stars, YouTube stars, they all use the bathroom on the toilet just like you do. They all have to eat breakfast in the morning just like you do. They all go to sleep just like you do. They may have like hair falling out. They may get zits on their face. They are a typical person who just happened to have an acting career, or just happened to be president, or who happened to be born into a royal family. You are also just a regular person who could potentially do extraordinary things. The second thing that's been really helpful to get me past the burden of imposter syndrome is that constructive criticism is not the bad guy, because everyone can improve on whatever. I used to really bristle in the face of constructive criticism. We're talking up until at least a few months ago. I really didn't want to be the person to make mistakes or do things that could be improved on, because for me that felt like I wasn't good enough, and it would just sort of eat into that core belief that I was somehow less than because I couldn't be perfect. A few months ago, I actually did a huge audit of both of my YouTube channels, both the gaming channel and this channel, and I learned a lot of things that I was really doing wrong, like so wrong. But I didn't beat myself up over this. I took it as data and tried to turn the ship in the right direction instead of beating myself up for past mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's part of the human experience. I don't like to make mistakes. I think making mistakes is really annoying, but it's just part of the human experience. And the moment I started to gamify trying to correct mistakes was the moment the light bulb went off, or on. The light bulb goes on when you realize things, doesn't it? It goes on. Sometimes on YouTube, when I upload a video and it ends up like really low ranked over the past like 10 videos, I'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna analyze where people stopped watching or where people skipped, or because you can see that kind of information on YouTube. And 3 years ago, I never wanted to look at that information. I was very sensitive about that because, you know, you had edited this piece of film, you had scripted out the video maybe, and you had put all of your love into it, and you didn't want to have people crap on it. And so the moment I realized that constructive criticism is just areas where you can like steer the ship in a different direction, and I sort of gamified it a little bit, it becomes much more enjoyable to actually go through your life. You're like, well, I can get a little bit better than last week, or like, oh, I can make my thumbnail like a little bit more attractive than last time. You're like, oh, I discovered this new trick. And that brings me to the next thing that I learned about imposter syndrome, is that often people with imposter syndrome, like me, feel like they're an imposter because they don't know how to do something, and therefore they don't want to talk about it. I had this incredibly wild notion that unless I knew 100% of the information about something, my knowledge was worthless. That is simply not true. Not everyone knows everything about their subject that they're an expert in. I don't know everything about organizing. I have an organizing channel. I help my clients organize. I do the best I can, but I don't know everything about organizing. And I'm not a perfectly organized person. I mean, newsflash, there are some parts of my house which I have organized again and again and again because I can't figure out what works in that space. That is okay, man. I'm forever trying to figure out how to fill in my educational gaps, and filling in those educational gaps actually makes me feel a lot better. Every time I learn a new skill, I feel so good about myself, and I get this honestly. My dad was a lifelong learner. He was always going to conferences, taking classes on things that he wanted to learn how to do. He learned how to play tennis late in life. He learned how to play golf later in life. He learned how to use a DSLR camera. I still can't use a DSLR camera. And if you feel not confident about what you know about a subject, fill in the gaps. It will make you feel better to be a lifelong student, and accept that you will be a lifelong student. I can't possibly fill my brain with the entirety of the world's knowledge. That is unrealistic. In 2020, I learned how to set up a gaming channel. I learned how to live stream. I learned how to capture my footage and my audio. I learned how to do different lighting. I learned how to edit videos for a different audience. I had so much fun learning, and that is why I love this week's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journeys, with thousands of inspiring classes for creative, curious, and productive people like me on topics including entrepreneurship, cooking, interior design, photography, video editing, and so much more. Skillshare offers classes designed for real life, so if you don't have time to watch a 5-hour class, there's others you can watch that are shorter, and you can move on with your day. Lately, I have been obsessed with Ali Abdaal on YouTube. He is so incredible. He's a doctor and an entrepreneur, and he's got 9 classes on Skillshare, and I love all of them. He's got classes on like cooking, being productive in cooking, but mostly being productive. His classes on Skillshare are worth every penny. They're so good, and they make you feel like you can like conquer the world.
Ali Abdaal's Productivity Masterclass, Principles and Tools to Boost Your Productivity, was easy to understand. He taught the class in very simple modules, and it was so easy to help me boost my productivity and get more things done without sacrificing, the rest of my life.
Skillshare is also incredibly affordable when compared to in-person classes and workshops. So the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring your creativity today, right now. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and I hope that it creates a lifelong learner out of you. The fourth thing that's been really important in my dance with imposter syndrome, I'm not gonna say battle, I'm gonna say dance, with imposter syndrome is that racism, sexism, and other isms are a real thing and they do affect you. Any kind of marginalized existence is the perfect breeding ground for imposter syndrome. I was a kid, I grew up in the 80s. I was the only brown girl everywhere, all the time. I was the only brown person at in my equestrian team in the entire league of DC, Maryland, and Virginia. The entire what's it called? What is this organization called anymore? Anyway, when I would go to meets, team meets, I was a part of a team, and we would show up at the meets. We were the nicest team, by the way. The other team had girls talking about each other. It was a show. Anyway, I would show up there and I'd be the only brown girl in the entire crowd, including the staff, teachers, everybody. And I felt like I had to represent my entire social group. Now I will say I was a good rider. I won lots of blue ribbons for my team. However, it set up a really good breeding ground for imposter syndrome. Having growing up to hear that you have to work twice as hard to get the same thing as the person from the non-marginalized group also is a good breeding ground for imposter syndrome, because you feel like nothing you do is good enough unless you do it twice as well. And in a lot of instances, unfortunately, it is true. Racism does exist. Sexism does exist. Every other ism in the world does exist and is valid. Your feelings about that are valid. You can't talk about imposter syndrome without acknowledging that these things do exist and that they're very real. The fifth thing that has made a huge impact on me in my dance with imposter syndrome and getting past it is Richie Norton. Richie Norton has authored a few books, and I was lucky enough to meet him at VidSummit in 2018, I think. And one of the most powerful things he said during his talk has stayed with me and has really made a huge impact on the way that I think about the stuff that I'm doing, and that is everybody's making shit up. It made me realize that people that are doing really amazing things, like they wrote an amazing book, they are amazing artists, or they invented something fantastic, they're really just improvising, and some of that stuff worked out. Sometimes when I'm creating something, I get analysis paralysis and I freeze, and I'm like, there's no way I could possibly get this out and it would benefit people, because I'm special. But everybody's making shit up. To create something and put something out there is an act of extreme courage. It is time for you to take off your cowardly lion costume and actually do things with courage. If you don't take the chance, you're gonna miss out on so many opportunities. So even if that first paragraph you write is stupid, or stupid to you, or if your first drawing just isn't good, doesn't hit, it doesn't mean your second drawing is not gonna be fire. We're all just making stuff up. You can too. Make up something wonderful. So at the end of the day, these thoughts are something I deal with on a regular basis, but I watch them go by. I can actually see the thoughts go by and I go, okay. Anyway, getting away from being in a judgmental place and getting to a very business-like place with myself and treating myself with much more compassion has been so helpful. Okay, friends, I think I've been babbling enough. Enjoy the porch part of the video, and I'll see you next time. Please be kind to yourselves. Really, really be kind to yourselves. I'm telling you, you are special in a good way, but be a typical person and do extraordinary things. Love you. Bye. Hey friends, it's Kay. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. We are here to do another vlog today. So it is Saturday, and on Saturdays, I usually make content for my other channel, so I did that this morning. I really have to do some editing on it, but I also wanted to refresh the porch and maybe do a little fall decor on there. So here is one corner of our porch. We have a little coleus trio down here, and we have a beautiful little table and chairs from IKEA and this rug that's just been out here all winter and it still looks great. I did put some little tropical plants out here. This on the side was where we had grown some strawberries and peas. The peas are done for, but we'll plant some more for, I guess, fall time. But this is also kind of doesn't have anything in it as well. And also this is kind of a thing that was out here for recycling, but maybe I can move it to another location. I also may want to give a quick scrub to the railing here. I put my oxalis outside and it looks great. These are the leaves that grew inside, and all of these are leaves that grew outside. Plus we have the flowers, and there's some old planters that were out here left by the previous owner, so I think we're gonna get rid of those today. There's this guy as well, which doesn't look that great, so it just like some old basil in here. And so I think we're gonna redo this little area. And we have some flowers which unfortunately did not survive the heat wave, so we might, I mean, these are okay, but we may replace these with something more decorative. Clover's out here. He is ready to go to the nursery, but he's gonna say hi to his dad first because his dad just came home and he was missing him very badly. Look at him, he put his whole head through the railing. Oh my gosh, are you okay? You gotta be careful, buddy.
What happened?
He put his head through the railing.
Hold on, let me put my stuff.
Always misses his dad when his dad goes away. You were just gone for like an hour. There's white fronds and then like regular color fronds. Whoa, those are cool. Chameleon ZZ. Oh, sweet. I might need myself one of these. How much do we think this Thai constellation is gonna be? What's the price? The price is $899.99. Wow. Look at that big boy. Look at this. These are the cool new hotness. This is Geodanthus, I guess it said, and look how cool they look. I might have to snap one of these babies up. Got Pink Princess here. Wow. These don't have bad variegation. Maybe they're kind of bad, I don't know. Is this a philodendron or is this the metaphyllum? So pretty. So pretty. It was so tiring to walk through there in a mask because it was like 85 degrees inside, but we got a bunch of plants and planters, and hopefully we'll make the porch really inviting. My husband's picking up some lunch for us, so we're gonna eat. Hello, very excited to get home. Yeah, we made a friend there.
After this, I spent so long trying to clean up the porch and trying to film it, but I got distractions from a meeting. My mom called and I was just doing some general thinking, and thus this video was made. So my video was kind of a flop, but we did get some new plants for the porch. We have this cute little light that comes on at night that sits on the table, and we got, other plants to supplement the tropical plants that were out there. I got new planters for the stuff I'm growing inside. It'll be greens and all that yummy stuff for the fall. So I'm very excited to have some edible plants. I'm storing some of my gardening tools inside this thing now, and we did buy some herbs for the planter that we have on the porch side for one of them. So this mini vlog was kind of a flop, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and look forward to Vlogtober. We'll be vlogging every single day in October, the best month of the year. All right, friends, have a good one. Bye.